Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go with this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Now, as far as the put to call ratio, it's at 0.69. It's fairly low, but we've seen it lower. So there is a lot of people on the call side. So I think that we'll see a rug pull this week, especially with VIX being so low, even though right now, today is Monday. Today is Martin Luther King Day. The market's closed and VIX is gapped up. So we closed Friday at $18 and now it's at 19. Markets closed, like I said, but futures is open, so we'll probably see a gap down for the market tomorrow. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow and play it by ear. But like I said, a lot of people are on the call side, and I've been watching Twitter all weekend, and everyone is just all over the inverse head and shoulders on the daily, which I posted on my Twitter account. But people keep forgetting and overlooking the fact that VIX is at 18. VIX is getting too low. I don't think it's going to break out. I think the upside is very, very limited. With that said, even though there is a you can see right here 18 on the weekly, 18's been pretty much a floor for the last year, but in 2020 it can go down to 16 or even 15, but that seems pretty far-fetched. But I mean, it can happen. Never say never. It can happen. So now, as far as the economic calendar for the week, let's see. Tomorrow being Tuesday, we have couple Fed speakers tomorrow. Wednesday we have core PPI, retail sales. Thursday, more Fed speakers. Don't really see much unemployment claims on Thursday and Friday. I don't really see anything. More Fed speakers and existing home sales at 10 o'clock. So not much on the economic calendar this week, just a couple things here and there. But yeah, VIX 18, you got to keep that in mind. Now, I was saying about SPY's weekly trend line. I don't really have it drawn here. I don't need to draw it because I can see it clear as day. It's right there. Inverse head and shoulders to the left, the head and the right shoulder, and everyone's talking about the inverse head and shoulders. But with VIX being at 18, I mean, even if it does manage to break out, I don't think it's going to go far. I mean, VIX acts like a coiled spring. The further it gets pressed down, the more violent the pump is going to be on VIX, and the drop is going to be on SPY. So the number one area I would be looking at, it's 400, not only the trend line, but the big round number. Sometimes SPY likes to overshoot and undershoot levels, and in this case, it could definitely overshoot. Since everyone is looking at the inverse head and shoulders, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we even pop to break out of the trend line just a little bit and shoot up to 402 to 405, just enough to get everybody on the call side more than what they already are, then just take it down. Plus, we have earnings season coming up this week, next few weeks. That could have a huge impact on the market and going forward. So, to me, I think that SPY will probably overshoot a little bit. I mean, if the market gaps down, I mean, we may not even get there to overshoot, but it could undershoot. But I'm thinking if it does manage to get to 400, I think that we could see 402 to 405. I don't think we're going to get much higher than 405. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm leaning towards, because if the market gets to 405, VIX will probably be back down to 17 or even 16 at that point. So that VIX does matter. So keep an eye on VIX when it's down to under 18. So that's what I'm thinking for on SPY. We overshoot to maybe 405 before we start actually pulling back. If not, we could end up pulling back already. So watch it underneath 395. which is Friday's low right here. Yeah, Friday's low right here underneath 395 to 390, 385, 380 be big area. It's been staying in this 385 to 380 for a long time, so I wouldn't not be surprised if we end up coming back down and retesting 385. Now, one other scenario is that we might not get a full-fledged drop down to the 360, 340, 350, or 360. We could pull back just enough to the 385 to bring down, to get VIX to pop, and we could maybe eventually pop out of this, maybe in the next month or two. But right now, I don't think it's going to. I think we're going to just top out around 402 to 405 before pulling back. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Play it day by day and see how things gap up or gap down in the morning. So that's what I'm looking at for SPY. VIX I already covered. Tesla is what I'm looking at. Tesla looks like it's getting ready to make a little bit of a pop right here. Get inverse head shoulders right here. Left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. It gets over this 125 area. We could see it pop to 130, 140, 150, 160. That's probably going to be 165. There's a lot of resistance right in here. So if we manage to get a nice run, it'd probably stall out at 165 on that. So in another next big area on the weekly would be the 175 area. So Tesla, keep an eye on that. Costco is setting up too. It looks like a pretty good little flag right here on the daily. It's consolidating around the 480 to 485. I think if it gets over Fridays, not Friday, but whatever day this is, the 9th, which is the Wednesday? Oh, Monday. We get over this high right here of 487, we'll round up, that we could see a push to 500 very, very easily on Costco. So keep an eye on Costco and see if it does manage to get over this area of 487 for a push to 500. So definitely keep an eye on Costco. BA, whoops, hit the mic. BA is just, it's so oversold on so many time frames. Bearish divergence is going on in the daily. You can see it's making a higher high. RSI is making a lower high. Same with histogram. Same with the hourly. It's making a higher high. It's just making lower highs on the histogram and the RSI. So I think that Boeing is getting ready to near the top. We'll have to see where the top is. Weekly RSI is over 70. So definitely is something to keep an eye on. And they had earnings coming up in a couple weeks. So who probably knows what's going to happen with that? I mean, that could end up being bad. Who knows? But anyways, with the bearish divergences going on, I'd keep an eye on underneath 212 for push down to the 210, 205 area. Then you get the 203, 201, 200 be a big psychological number. Then you get this 195 area. So this is get a little bit of a gap right here in the 191 area it could fill. So definitely keep an eye on BA pulling back. BABA is another one. Just same thing. It's diverging, making higher highs, and the RSI is starting to come down. I mean, the daily RSI is over 80, near 80. You can see it's making higher highs on the hourly. RSI is coming down. Same with histogram right there. Definitely keep an eye on BABA. I think that it's also a rising wedge. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles out of 7 candles outside the Kellner channel, and these candles rarely ever get out of the Kellner channel, and when they do, they get pulled back in quite quickly. And you can see it on the weekly right here. It's outside the Kellner channel too, so definitely BABA could end up pulling back. So keep an eye on BABA underneath 114.50, or you could even round up to 115 or 114. Then you get this 112 area, 110. Then you get 105, 103, then 100, and you get a gap fill down here, the 95 area. So you get some gaps to fill down here. Definitely could see that happening on BABA. So definitely keep an eye on that. And the last one is Microsoft. Now Microsoft, it's kind of stalling out at the 240 area, but it's starting to look pretty good though. I think that if the market's strong this week or strong for even a day, that this could end up making a pop to 250. I mean, it gets over this 240 area, 245, 250, definitely in the cards for Microsoft. So definitely keep an eye on Microsoft to make a little push right here on this week, assuming that the market is having a decent day or two. We could definitely see some movement on that. So that's going to do it for the watch list, and hope to see you in the room. Thanks for watching.